You've probably experienced it hundreds of times without really thinking about it. You chew mint gum, brush your teeth, or take a sip of peppermint tea, and suddenly your entire mouth feels freezing cold. But here's the strange part. Nothing actually became colder. The mint wasn't frozen. Your mouth temperature barely changed, and yet your brain becomes completely convinced that icy air is rushing through your mouth. It's one of those small, everyday sensations that feels so normal that most people never stop to question it. Why does mint feel cold? The answer involves chemistry, nerves, and the way the brain interprets sensations. Scientists have studied this effect for decades, and today we're exploring the science behind it right here, on History of Simple Things. The cooling sensation from mint comes from a natural chemical called menthol. Found in peppermint and spearmint plants, menthol is responsible for the fresh, icy feeling people experience when chewing gum, brushing their teeth, or using mint-flavored products. But menthol itself is not actually cold. If you checked its temperature, it would usually be the same as the surrounding room. The reason it feels cold comes from the way the human nervous system works. Menthol interacts directly with sensory nerves inside the mouth and on the skin, activating receptors connected to cold sensations. Once those nerves are triggered, they send signals to the brain that mimic the feeling of real cold temperatures. That's why mint products can feel instantly refreshing within seconds. Your brain reacts as if something cold is physically touching you, even though the temperature itself has barely changed at all. To understand why mint feels cold, you first need to understand how the body senses temperature. Humans have special nerve receptors called thermoreceptors that detect heat and cold. One of the most important is TRPM8, often called the body's cold receptor. These receptors are found in the tongue, mouth, throat, and skin. Normally, they activate when temperatures become cool, sending signals through the nervous system to the brain. The brain then interprets those signals as the sensation of cold. This system helps humans react to changing environments and avoid dangerous temperatures. Menthol becomes important because it can activate the same TRPM8 receptors without actually lowering temperature. As a result, your brain receives cold signals even when nothing around you has physically become colder at all. Menthol can activate the same TRPM8 receptors that normally respond to cold temperatures. In simple terms, mint does not actually lower the temperature in your mouth. Instead, menthol chemically tricks the nerves responsible for detecting cold. Your brain receives those signals and interprets them the same way it would interpret ice water or cold air. Scientists describe this as a sensory illusion because the cooling sensation feels completely real, even though the temperature barely changes. That's why mint gum, toothpaste, and peppermint products can feel icy despite being at room temperature. The effect can become even stronger when combined with actual cold drinks or air, since both the temperature and menthol activate the same receptors at the same time, creating a much more intense cooling sensation inside the mouth. Mint's cooling effect has an opposite in spicy foods. Compounds like capsaicin, found in chili peppers, activate heat-sensitive receptors instead of cold-sensitive ones. Capsaicin targets a receptor called TRPV1, which normally responds to heat and pain. So while menthol tricks the brain into sensing cold, spicy foods trick the brain into sensing heat. Neither mint nor chili peppers significantly change the actual temperature in your mouth. Instead, they manipulate the nervous system in different ways. This shows how the brain relies entirely on signals sent by nerves. If certain chemicals activate those nerves, the sensations feel real even without a true temperature change. That's why people can sweat from spicy food or feel chilled after using mint products, despite the temperature around them remaining almost completely the same. One of the strangest mint experiences happens after brushing your teeth and drinking water. The water suddenly feels much colder because menthol continues activating TRPM8 cold receptors even after brushing is finished. When cold water touches your mouth, the signals combine and create a much stronger cooling sensation. This same effect explains why breathing cool air after chewing mint gum feels especially refreshing. But menthol's cooling power is not only used in toothpaste or gum. It also has medical uses in cough drops, muscle rubs, inhalers, and pain relief creams. The cooling sensation can temporarily distract the brain from discomfort and create a soothing feeling on sore muscles or irritated throats. Scientists still study menthol and TRPM8 receptors today because understanding how they work could help improve treatments for pain and other sensory conditions in the future. Mint feels cold because of menthol and a receptor called TRPM8. Together, they trick the brain into sensing cold even when the temperature barely changes. What seems like a simple everyday sensation is actually a complex interaction between chemistry and the nervous system. The next time mint gum or toothpaste feels icy, you'll know your brain is being chemically fooled in real time. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.